Fred here, welcome back to the Gear Obsession channel. I just took a couple of my firearms out of the safe to see how they're doing in long-term storage, so stay tuned. It's really been quite a while since I've gotten to the range, and my guns have been sitting in the safe for a long time. Some I haven't shot for as long as 2-3 years. So I thought it'd be a good idea to take some of them out, especially ones I haven't shot for a really long time, just to see how they're doing and how my preservation of these firearms is doing, if I'm doing everything right. So what I did was I pulled a couple of samples. I pulled out my Charles Daly 45, and I also pulled out a Smith & Wesson 686 Plus, which is a .357 Magnum. So let's take a close look. This poor Charles Daly. By the way, all of these have been safety checked, and this doesn't even have the magazine in it right now. So anyway, before I get started, this Charles Daly. When I got back into firearms, this is one of the first ones that I bought. And the reason why is because I used the 1911 for almost my entire Navy career, and it was just very nostalgic to me, so I went ahead and got it since that's the gun I was most familiar with and the one that I enjoyed shooting throughout my Navy career. So anyway, the Charles Daly specifically, you can't even buy this anymore. They sort of pulled out of the US market in 2010. They might have even just went out of business in 2010. Let's see. Actually, they went out of business in 2010. But just so you know, in 2012 they announced that they would be re-entering the U.S. market. I don't know how true that is. I went to their website real quick and I did notice a couple of shotguns, but they're not doing these. But these weren't made by Charles Daly. They were just imported. They were coming from Rock Island Armory Arms Corps. Made in the Philippines, and you could still get those guns today, and they're really a good buy, and this was a good buy. They're just as good as 1911s that cost way more. They're a good solid gun. So anyway, enough getting nostalgic. Let's just take a close look and see how I'm doing here. I'm gonna again just show you this is safety checked, and we can take a close look and just make sure that we don't have any pitting or anything weird going on. And it really does look nice and clean even inside there. So I think I'm doing something right. I really do. Whoops, almost dropped it. Really looking good, as you can see there. What I did to basically preserve these guns as good as I can is I oil all the parts I need to be oiled with, and usually when I put them into long-term storage, I'll use an oil that says preservative, and it doesn't say cleaner, because I get nervous that something that can clean these guns, to leave it on the metal for long term. I mean, it's probably not a problem, but I get nervous about things like that, so I'd rather once I get them cleaned up real good, just put a light coat of some sort of oil with lubricant. And I've reviewed a lot, and this is CLP, break free. Actually, technically the C is out of this, it's just LP. They leave out the cleaner. There's a lot of other good cleaners that I've rated really good. Another one that always seems to come out on top, and I have it here, is Frog Loop. I've done a lot of testing. This stuff did surprisingly well. The only thing bad I got to say about Frog Loop is it doesn't do good in extremely cold temperatures. It will turn into a solid probably quicker than most other oils, so it could cause an issue. So if you're in a cold climate, this may not be the best thing to use in your firearm, but other than that, it's really good, and you could even eat it. So and you could tell that I eat a lot. Anyway, 45, we'll go ahead and take this down. Again, these have been safety checked for all of you who are concerned about that. So it's been so long since I took a 1911 apart. It's hilarious. Alright, but we'll take a look and see how well this has been doing. Yep. Go ahead and pop this out. Then we should be able to, well, I still know how to do that after all that Navy training. So you can see there, I don't have any weird rust things going on there on the frame, which is good. Let's go ahead and take out the recoil spring and rod. This has a traditional spring and rod, none of those new fancy stuff. You can still see it's a little oily, maybe a little bit of dirt still. And let me see, you gotta fold that down and pull it out the front. And I did polish this up a little bit a long time ago, because I think this was black when I bought it. But no rust whatsoever. I'm very happy about that. One of the ways that I preserve it, besides, like I said, cleaning them real good, light coat of some sort of oil, is that they're in a safe. And I did a review on this guy, but in the safe, this is something that absorbs moisture. And again, I did a review on this. Essentially, it has that, this isn't stuff in it. It's like little crystal things, round, I don't know, balls, whatever, that absorb moisture. And these look like it's time to plug this in. And what happens is you, in a nutshell, just plug this into the wall. It heats up. It helps the moisture get out of these by heating them up and makes it evaporate, and it sort of recharges everything. And then you could just go ahead and fold this back, stick it back in the safe, and it will absorb more moisture. Really simple design. Remington's not the only company that puts their name on this. This is sold as a mini dehumidifier for all kinds of uses. While we're here, one of the other things I do besides wiping down everything with thin oil, a thin coat of oil, is I get out my, you could either use rusty rags, which is really good, which I probably used on these last, but for those of you who don't have that, you could buy, you know, these wipes that have silicone wipes, and they're, you know, they do eventually dry up. And one of the tricks that you could do to sort of, you know, if it's relatively clean but they're just dry, you can go ahead and spray a little bit of silicone spray on this and sort of give this a little more life if you want. These cans are only a couple dollars. Just make sure it's just silicone and nothing else. And you know, while I'm sitting here giving you all kinds of neat tips, when I clean the guns, or when I'm sort of mushing the lubricants around, sometimes you gotta get into very tight spaces. You know, there's tight spaces in the 1911. Let me get some patches out here. So what you could do is use one of these skewers. You could buy like a whole pack of them. You heard me busting open for just a couple of dollars. It's bamboo skewers. Got them at the supermarket. And when you got to get really down in there, really deep, you can go ahead and use these and sort of push things around. And you don't have to worry about scratching your firearm, because this is wood or bamboo, and it's not going to mar any metal. So pretty good tip. I actually got this tip from the Armory channel, Pete from the Armory channel, and I've been using these things ever since. Look at that, there's a little bit of dirt there. I didn't do such a hot job. And if there's a lot of dirt, you could actually just go ahead and run this down in there, in those crevices, to help loosen up some dirt after you like spray it. You could just sort of work this up and down in the corners and the rails, just to loosen up things that are really tight in the corners of the, let's say, slide here. Really good. I hope if you haven't seen that tip, I hope this helps you out. Well, I hope you've enjoyed my first firearm video of the year. I'm sorry it's not at the range yet. I know I keep on apologizing for it, but I don't do anything about it. But eventually I'll get out there. It's just, it's been pretty busy around here. And I've been sick a lot for some stupid reason. But it's probably from just not being very healthy. Anyway, thank you very much for joining me here at the Gear Obsession channel. I really appreciate every friend, viewer, subscriber, and especially you. And I hope you have a great day. Take care.